You know what, dude? I watched The Boys finally. I was telling you about this. Um, The Boys Gen V. So I'd watched all of it, but I hadn't watched Gen V. I actually watched the cartoon leading up to Gen V, that precursor to the actual show.
Mhm.
And I'm watching Gen V, and in the first episode, they got this scene of a male member out there, and you're like, oh, okay, interesting. And I see the way they're presenting male genitalia and the way they do sexuality or they show sex scenes in the show, and it was a different take, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Not too concerned. It's a style. Whatever. Get all the way up to Gen V, and there's a scene where this girl is running around in a tank top, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And then I'm like, wait a minute, there is no way there was no nip slip in that. That's impossible. The way she had like a super baggy tank top kind of shirt on, and she's just running around. I'm like, no way in the world. And I'm thinking they just go all out on Gen V, right? They just show whatever. But I'm like, there's no way. And I'm mad at you for calling me out on this one. But I was like, this is crazy. I got to research this. I
Okay,
played.
Mr. Skin, I hear researching nip slips. I love it.
I went back through the scene like twice, and I was like, huh, yeah, absolutely no nip slip. And then I caught one scene where it should have been. It literally should have been, and I paused it right at the moment. Dude, it's like I saw the tape holding the shirt down so there wouldn't be a nip slip. Now, fair to be fair, the actor in question may not have wanted to show anything. That's fine, awesome, go about your business. But my thinking in the show is it got me to think, wait a minute, why is this whole idea of showing sex in a series so upside down? Not upside down like wrong, but it's showing much more male sexuality and
Much more.
nothing in terms of the female. That's why I was like, why isn't there a nip slip? And then it made me think. So there, this is extremely intentional. And I don't know if anybody's out there talking about this, but it seems like a lot of people are into it, just the idea of it. I don't know if they're actually into it, but yeah, it just jumped over the taboo of showing male nudity. So it went there a few times. Any
Mhm.
thoughts on that? Because it was just
I think there's a bigger conversation to be had. Hate to bring this out here,
the diplomatic
but
voice comes in.
I know. There's a bigger conversation, and it's just this woke agenda that we hear the right say about Hollywood and how there may be over indexing on female skewing stories, underrepresentation in stories, and it's getting out of hand. And as two woke bros, two woke Negroes, obviously I skew a little left leaning. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
But even I can tell sometimes this is a little too much. And I wonder if that's the cause of just fandom changing a little bit. Gen V is a perfect example. You called it out, Mr. Benjamin, when you said, "Hey, this is," because you're right. Very, they show male genitalia all the time, and typically when they show it, it's probably exploding in your face sometimes. And so that seems like a purposeful
Violently, yeah.
choice. Yes, violently. So it's like you see a dick, it's gonna blow up. Sorry,
I mean, yeah.
they beep that out, but that's what happens. But if you see, but you're not gonna see anything, and it does seem purposeful. And I wanna put that together with, some of the things that I think Grace had hinted at, Grace from Beyond the Trailer, that they had 2 recent movies that were female skewing. The plot, the storyline, the stars are all
Mhm.
females. There's a female standpoint, point of view, but guess who went to go see those movies? Not females,
Yeah,
not women. It was mostly men. Like, for instance, the Marvels, they said the box office demographic, 61% of the moviegoers were male. Only 39% were female, and
yep,
similar numbers for Madam Web, which are literally not only was it just one lead female on both movies, but there was multiple women sub leads and characters who were
yeah.
superheroes or doing something. And so, is Hollywood pushing a woke agenda, Mr. Benja, on our superhero fandom?
We didn't get into it, but you could even say that it just seems like somebody's trying a lot of stuff. Let's see how it works if we totally flip flop it. Not even try to ease it in. Totally flip flop it. Go hardcore in the other direction. You can even see this with AI, the Gemini, right? The Google's Gemini used to be Bard, and they're in a little bit of a stink right now because if you say, "Give me an image of a pope," I saw it in I saw a Native American pope, I saw a black pope, I saw like, a Chinese pope, Asian pope. I don't actually no, there was definitely a Filipino pope. But all these ethnicities, and if you ask it to show like a white character, it'll actually say, "I'm sorry, I can't do that because we have to be sensitive about." It's really interesting stuff.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, if you haven't seen those articles, it's like, how did this slip by? How did you release this? Or how did you think that this was gonna go over? And once again, my thought is, no, you can't just like the nip slips. No, you can't just think that's happening. This is intentional. They're trying something and want to see how far they can get. I don't know what it means, but from somebody who used the word woke before it got hijacked by the
Mhm.
popular left and was faithfully used by black people from do the right thing in school days, staying woke. I got problems with this. I want to know what's going on.
Oh, man. No, that's fair assessment, Mr. Benja. I wish I could tell you, but it does seem like there is a, concerted effort,
Agenda.
to yeah, agenda to and
That
I
word's
think
always funny to me. I don't mean to throw it out there. It's
and
funny.
kudos to Lathan over at the Ringer Network, and he used to be a part of TMZ. He said at one time, like maybe a couple years ago, I heard him say on a podcast, he said, "Look, sometimes when things have been so out of balance, when we try to overcorrect, sometimes we overcorrect, right? To get it more in balance." And so I do feel like there's somewhat of an overcorrection because I think it's so noticeable now is because you got to think a lot of these decisions that were intentional that we're seeing, like the nip slip, like the green lighting of the Marvels and the green lighting of Madam Web were probably done in the midst of the Me Too movement, right? Or George Floyd 2020. And so those decisions were made are baked in now. And so now that culture has shifted a
Mm,
little
mm,
because of that, we're seeing like, wait a minute, why all this stuff is here? Because we made those decisions in the height of controversy, right? When things were
yeah.
crappy. So of course we're gonna see things. And now I guarantee 2 years from now, when all the movies are back to white cis males, everybody's gonna be mad because we're making
Yeah,
decisions
yeah.
now based on the reactions to culture. Because it's always too because these
It's
movies
it's
take like
it's the
2 years.
pendulum. It's a pendulum.
Yeah, these movies take 2 years to come out and the writing and all that. There's been a big recent hubbub about I don't know if you watched True Detective as a TV show that came out on, HBO like 10 years ago with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrison. Big success about cis white males doing detective work, being hardcore. So they had all these different iterations of it, and then recently they had a version of it where it was 2 women, one was bi and a Native American indigenous person, and one was an older white lady, and they were the leads of the
Yeah.
detective show. The creator of the so he's no longer part of the project. The creator of the original True Detective went off. He went ham on
Oh, man.
the creator, who is also a woman of color, who creates the showrunner and everything. And he went off on her. And it was like, what is going on? Because there's a sense that they co-opted his storytelling, even though he's getting paid, not because he's still executive producer on the
Mhm.
concept of True Detective. His name is Nick. Dang, I can't remember his last name, but he created it. The current showrunners, he well, you know what? Shoot, I need to get these names right because I want to get it right. Because I don't want people coming after me. But I would say
It
this
better
that
not be Nick Fuentes.
no, don't say that.
I will not
Nick
okay.
Palazzo. So he yeah, and then Issa Lopez is the current showrunner. She's a woman of color. And then Nick Palazzo is the creator of the True Detective brand. He just went off and just said the storytelling wasn't great. And then now there's this sense of this white cis male against women creators in his play box. It's almost like we talk about
Mhm.
one of the things I thought about too was like we talked about this too, the colorization of or making Batman black or Superman black, and what does
Yeah.
that look like? And do we need to do that to get representation?
Yeah, my short answer to that is no, and it's not because I it's a whole hand-me-down, I don't want your hand-me-downs and second place trophy, and here we come with Captain American Falcon Black. It's
But all the why all the black superheroes gotta have electricity powers?
even that little kid in Logan, do you remember that?
Yes.
I rewatched Logan and I saw the little kid. little black kid lit up with lightning. I'm like,
I could count on one hand. There's a Spawn, and then what's that dude that sits on a mountain? He's an Aborigine though, but he sits on a mountain and he teleports everybody.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, and Bishop. But what's
right,
Bishop? Oh, he's just in charge of stuff. Those are the only cool ones.
yeah.
Storm is electricity.
And no one's talking about milestone comics, which we need to get. All right, man. You got me riled up now.